There we go. Hi.
Hi everyone, it's Bobby at Lions, Tigers, and Bears, and welcome to Lions, Tigers, and Bears live visit. I'm hanging out here with Louie, and Louie's actually watching Victor, the keeper over there. He just walked by this way and walked by that way, so Louie's just like waiting to see which direction breakfast is going to be this morning. So we are here at our welcome kiosk, and this is actually, if you were to come out and visit Lions, Tigers, and Bears, this is actually where you would check in. So for those of you that have been to Lions, Tigers, and Bears, you already know when you come out for a visit, this is where you check in. Usually Louie and the girls are here to greet you. A lot of times they're here to greet people, and they're up in the trees, and people don't even notice that they're being watched by the lions. So we're going to start off with no animals for a second, but we are going to get to some animals. I just wanted to show you the animals that we're going to introduce you today are all bobcats. We're going to do the little cats, and they are up in the bobcat habitat, but in about a month they will be moving down here. So we're just going to go inside of here today and show you a little bit about where they're going to be living. What we're waiting for is the water feature to be built. So they'll have 3 little ponds and like waterfalls and rocks to climb on, but the weather has not been cooperating as far as building anything right now, so we're a little behind. But 3 weeks to 4 weeks this will be done of good weather, and then the servals will actually be moving into where you're going to see the bobcats at today. So just want to take a real quick second, tell you a little bit about Lions, Tigers, and Bears. If you look us up, lionstigersandbears.org, look for the one in Alpine. We're in east of San Diego. We're in California, of course, and supposed to have beautiful weather, but we're just surviving this terrible rain and getting through it. And now it's beautiful and sunny, so back to work. And want to tell you just a little bit about our campaign to help us hang in there during this whole virus that everybody's going through, and we will get through it. But we have been forced to close, so that cuts off a lot of the income to the animals. So we are asking you to help us to hang in there. It's a $20 challenge. It's also peer-to-peer fundraising, so you can just easily text 71777, text LTB for Lions, Tigers, and Bears. So text LTB to 71777. That takes you to our Help Us Hang in There campaign. Or go on our website and click on the funny picture of Conga, and that will get you to the campaign. And we're just asking for, anyone who can donate $20 or more, or create your own fundraiser to help us to raise money for the animals. So anyway, let's take a look at what we're calling Lynx Rufus, built by one of our friends, family, and donors, Jack Moore. And this is almost finished, and this is going to be where the bobcats are going to be moving. So this is going to be a really nice area for them, especially because we are going to build that nice water feature where they'll just have little bits of water that'll be easy to clean and easy to drain, and just be nice for them to have running water. And then they'll have this big, awesome, beautiful tree that they can actually will be able to jump from the rocks up onto the limbs and climb the tree if they choose, and just nice big open areas. And then we're working on building their little log cabin homes, which will be inside of here. And we've made it so they have lots of little places where they can go under the rocks and get in and have like a cave type den. But then they'll also have the insulated houses to keep them nice and cool in the summer and hot in the winter if they choose to go inside the insulation. And of course we can put straw to keep them even warmer when it snows, because when it does snow, this does cover the top with the snow and create a total roof, which actually kept it a little bit warmer in here when it was snowing, kind of kept the heat inside. So just wanted to share this with you. It's almost done, and super thank you to Jack Moore. He's just an awesome bobcat lover and awesome one of our members. So let's go on up. We're going to take a ride up to the bobcats because Louie has obviously left us for better things like breakfast. So as you can see, we're going into where the cats are, and on the right side over here is still the Lincoln Love habitat and the Lincoln Love pool. And then we have a venue site that we're working on right here on the left side of this habitat, but the rain, we're having to pull a lot of the mud and rain out right now. This is where you can stay the night if you ever want to come and stay the night at Lions, Tigers, and Bears. It's 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. It has a little outdoor kitchen. lounge and fire ring. The swimming pool is complete now and the jacuzzi, so they're just finishing up the deck outside. It's for adults only though, but it is a nice place if you want to come out and stay the night with the animals with us. All right, so we're going to ride up to the little cats. We're going to pass the surgery room and the gift shop and Tonga. We're going to go right in here and see which little cats are waiting for us.
Lots of people saying hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bobby.
So let us know where you're from, and don't be afraid to ask any questions. Come on in, Ruthann. I'll shut this. And look who's here to greet us first is Clarence and then Mia. So this is Mia that you're seeing up close. And Mia is about 23 pounds. She's about 16 years old. She came here in 2004. Of course, she's a female. She's the princess in here, or the queen. She definitely rules the roost. She runs the habitat. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you, we're having a contest for kids. So if there's any kids watching and you want to draw a picture of Mia or Clarence today or paint and send it in, what we're going to do, we're going to display the pictures or drawings or paintings that you make for us. And at the end of all of our lives after this virus, the teachers that volunteer here will be judging, and then the kids will win some prizes. Everybody will get something. So you can mail those in, and our address is on the website, or you can email them in to volunteer, not plural, volunteer at lionstigersandbears.org to make sure we get your picture. So you can do any of the animals that live at LTB, and just make sure you to put your name and how we contact you and your age and grade level if you could, so we can sort them out by age and grade level. So anyway, there's 4 bobcats that live over here. 3 of them live together, and Diego right now is separate, but we will be putting all of them together. It just takes time to do this, especially when they move to the bigger habitat. Let's go ahead and start to tell you a little bit more about Mia. Mia was a pet, and as we know, pet ownership, it never seems to work out. She lived in a man's house in Wyoming. When I picked up Mia, it was 0 degrees. It was the very first day of snow there. It was very cold. So you can see by the color of her coat that she lived in an area where there was snow, and because the color of their coat is the camouflage. So Mia's 20, she weighs about 23 pounds. Sorry for the helicopter. That's a sheriff flying by. So Mia weighs about 23 pounds, and she's 18 years old now. She came to us in 2011. The man called me and wanted to relinquish his pet bobcat, supposedly due to his health, but it was more like he didn't have a contingency plan. He wasn't able to provide her lifetime care for her anymore. He couldn't take care of her. She had pretty much destroyed a lot of the house and things because, obviously bobcats do not make good pets. She had scratched and clawed the furniture and, marked it up and made it her place. And by marked it up, I mean she smelled it up. So that's one thing that's nice, that, animals that belong outside in the wild, they belong in the wild. But Mia, she had no trouble adjusting. She's a very secure animal. She made herself right at home, made herself the queen in charge of everybody. And he did call, the older owner did call and check on her a few times, but that was about it. We've never heard from him since.
Hi from Vancouver. Hi, Vancouver.
Hi. And Clarence, he's sitting here patiently waiting for us by the fence. He probably thinks we have a snack. He came to Lions, Tigers, and Bears in 2004. And a lot of you who are watching probably remember I spent a lot of time with my team working in Ohio, helping the state of Ohio to move a lot of animals after we were successful in getting the legislation SB 310 through, which made it illegal to have these animals as pets. So Clarence was one of the animals that came here to Lions, Tigers, and Bears. He was compensated from a legal, yes, legal fur farm. So when the state went in the property, there were a lot of animals, but they could only take the one black bear and Clarence. So Clarence came here, and he was very, very, very afraid of people because he had been pretty abused and kept in a small rabbit cage, which they would shake or scare him so he would pee so they could collect his pee, which they would package and then, you know, sell to the market. So pretty sad. It took Clarence a good year to where we could even get near him before he, you know, without him shaking and trembling. And, you know, now as you see, he'll walk right up to the fence waiting for a treat, and just takes a lot of time for them to build that trust back up in people after they've been treated like that. So let's go see real quick if we could find Diego. He's on the other side.
People are asking how they can book to stay online, so you can go
So
to
the little overnight retreat, we call
Yes.
it White Oak Wild Nights, and you can get right on our website. Just get on Lions, Tigers, and Bears website. Here's Diego. And it'll say stay the night, and you can just click on that. And the calendar right now, it is a little bit confusing, but if you call, we can tell you the available dates. It looks like some of the dates aren't available even when they are. So don't be afraid to call in and book the retreat. Right now, like I told you, we do have a little bit of construction because we had ripped the deck off, and they are putting it back on. So it's going to have a really beautiful deck up there, and swimming pool and jacuzzi. And like I said, it's 2 bedrooms. As a matter of fact, we'll probably end up doing a live on that when we do one of the domestic animals that, you know, we cover. So as you can see, Diego has found something that the keepers left for him with scents on it. And a lot of times Martine will take off his sweatshirt and give to the Bobcats because we know they won't chew it, and they love their scents, and they will rub all over the clothing that he has sweat and made smelly.
And people are asking if Diego is a slightly different species of bobcat than the other two.
So Diego, we got a call from a vet office in South County here, and somebody had dropped him off when he could fit in your hand, just a baby. And they wouldn't leave their name and number, which leads us to believe that Diego is possibly captive bred, because if you found a bobcat in your backyard, why wouldn't you leave your name and number if the cat really was wild? So we believe that the people did the right thing by taking him to a vet because he was almost dead. It took him a few days so he could come here. So Diego was, when I got the call, of course, we called Fish and Game, which is who we're permitted by, to see if they wanted us to take Diego here for life, because he was super imprinted, purring, would go right to people. This was not a cat that was going to be able to go back in the wild. So Fish and Game did allow him to come here, but then they had spoke to another organization, which was wrong in stating that he could be made to go be put back in the wild. So what would happen in this situation is you have a perfectly imprinted cat, which has not sexually matured yet, so is super friendly as a baby. But then when they sexually mature, if you could possibly try to put this animal out in the wild, and then it's going to go up to some kid at the picnic table and take its chicken sandwich away or hurt somebody, when a bobcat would never ever normally hurt a person in the wild. They're afraid of you. So if you do come across a bobcat in the wild, don't be afraid. Just clap your hands, make some noise, back up slow, and they're going to most likely run away. They are very afraid of us. The only time that a bobcat would be a threat is if you were to corner the bobcat. So anyway, the Fish and Wildlife did take Diego back. They did try to put him back in the wild, and of course it did not work. So he's back, and he's staying for life. He's made his lifetime home here, and as you can see, he's really in love, loving Martine's sweatshirt. The animals are, they're just like your dogs in the way that they do know you and get to know their keepers, and they pick and choose who they like. And who's their, favorite person. They kind of know who brings the food. And Diego has taken a pretty good liking to Martine, and especially Martine's clothes.
Okay, Terry Moore says that Diego's her favorite.
Diego's a lot of people's favorite. And he's really funny to watch when he's out and playing, and he jumps and purrs. And one of the things with bobcats is a lot of people confuse them with the lynx, so you're getting a really good view of this little tail right now. So one of the easiest ways to tell the difference is the bobcats always have that little white tip. Can you see that white tip on the tip of his tails? And then they won't have the big snow feet in the back like the lynx have the big snow feet, and the lynx have like a bigger, rough, and longer tufts on their ears. And the bobcats can be like reddish, brownish, silver, so you see a little bit more red and brown in Diego than how you saw the silver in Mia. And he just got a glimpse of that tractor coming up on the other side, so he's hiding behind his house right now. But Diego is about 24 pounds now, and about 3 years old. So he's been here quite a while now. Bobcats are a close relative to the lynx. And a lot of times they'll have a smaller body size. And like I said, they'll have the shorter ear tufts, bobcats will, and a paler color on the tail. There's actually 13 subspecies of bobcats that can be found all across North America and Canada. And they live in the forests, mountains, deserts, rocky, and swampy areas. So they're pretty adaptable. And unfortunately, they're a pretty good target for hunters because of their beautiful fur. So besides the hunting, the threats to the bobcat is, of course, their habitat loss, diseases, and traffic accidents if they were to happen to get hit by a car. But despite all the bad, the wild population of bobcats is still large. And these animals are not on the list of endangered species. So you could very well come across a bobcat when you're hiking or in the wild. And like I said, don't be afraid, make noise. Bobcats are about 17 to 23 inches tall. And they are about 25 to 41 inches in length. And they can weigh anywhere from 10 to 40 pounds, but in the wild, average 10 to 28 pounds. Of course, the males are larger than the females. And as you see, they're like I said, they're covered in that orange, red, gray, brown fur. They can have stripes and dots. And if we get a glimpse of RJ in here, he actually has some rosettes, which are really, really pretty. And of course, they have those little tufts. Can you see the tufts on top of Clarence's ear? This is Clarence right here saying hi to us. Because those can be anywhere from, their tails can be anywhere from 2 to 8 inches long. And those tufts can get up to an inch or two. And you'll see them even be longer on the lynx. The lynx will have those big, beautiful tufts on their ears. They have super good eyesight and excellent sense of smelling and hearing. They're very good climbers. That's why we can't wait to get them in where that oak tree is. And they're pretty proficient swimmers. They're what's called a crepuscular animal. So a lot of people might say they're nocturnal, but they're not. They're crepuscular, which means they're very active at dusk and dawn. So a lot of times when I come out early in the morning, or I drive in and out of the ranch early in the morning, that's when I'll see the wild bobcats. Or a lot of times in summer when it's late sunset and it's just getting dark, like 8:30 at night, you'll start to see them coming out for water because it's hot. And you'll see them at that time on the ranch, the wild ones coming out for water. Their favorite food in the wild is rabbits, but they eat rodents, birds, lizards, snakes, carrion. And during the winter, they'll even hunt larger prey because they'll get hungry like deer.
Yeah, when we visited Clarence, he was deemed food aggressive. Does that still hold true?
Right. So, Beatrice, yes, it does. And I believe that is gone away a little bit by the way that we do feed him. But that comes from the way he was treated. And what they would do is shake that cage and make him pee, and they would throw him in a canned cat food. So people were not real good to Clarence. Matter of fact, When he was in Ohio and we had him at the Department of Agriculture in the Ag Center, which is where the state we would take the animals before transporting them to sanctuary, he was pink. And none of us, the vets, there were 3 vets there, none of us could figure out why he was pink. And the pink lasted for a good 2 months, and finally it just went away. So it was obviously something died on his fur. So this cat has been through it with the people. So building up trust with him was not easy, but as you can see, he's coming right along. Bobcats, they are ambush predators, so they stalk and hunt their prey. And they do live alongside mountain lions. So a lot of times we'll get a call, oh, I saw a mountain lion, and we've got to really go through the details because most people just see a bobcat and mistake it for a mountain lion. So kids, remember, the cougars are taller, tanner, have the long tail, and then the bobcats have the little stumpy tail that isn't going to be any longer than 8 inches, and 8 inches would be a very, very long bobcat tail. So you're just looking for that little 2-inch, 4-inch tail.
So Sarah was wondering, she saw 3 bobcats when she visited, and one was separated, and she was wondering if it was Clarence, but it was probably Diego, right?
I believe it was Diego. And I have put Diego and RJ together, and they're doing fine. And now we'll add one more and then one more. So we'll have all 4 of them together, and then we'll be moving them down to the big habitat all together at one time. And that'll keep them from fighting, because they'll be so busy checking out the new stuff, they'll forget that, this is a new place and they've got to pick their territory. But guarantee you, Mia she'll be the queen. She'll still be the queen. Let's see. Bobcats do growl, and they do produce little snarls, and they do purr. They actually purr very loud. A lot of times if you're as close as we are to them, maybe 8 feet, you can still hear them purring. They're very solitary animal and a territorial animal in the wild. So the males occupy pretty big territories, 25 to 30 miles, and the females will live on a smaller territory, like a 5-mile territory. And they leave scratch marks in the trees. They'll leave their urine and feces so they can scent mark their territories. Bobcats do live in dens, and they'll have one main den, and then they'll have a couple backup or auxiliary shelters where they can go run and hide within their territory. They like caves and rocky shelters and hollow logs and fallen trees. Their mating season, it usually takes place from February to March. That's why a lot of times we'll have what we call spring babies. So there'll be a lot of what people think are abandoned bobcats. So here's another thing: if you're ever hunting in the wild and you do see a baby bobcat all by itself, don't touch it. Whatever you do, don't touch it. You can report it to us, but don't touch it, because 9 times out of 10, 99.9% of the time, the mama is just off hunting. And there's no way for her to go hunting without leaving the baby. So if you do come across a baby bobcat, please leave it there. Don't touch it, because if you do, it takes away its wildlife. So we got to be really careful there, because I know everybody wants to help, but it's a wild animal is a wild animal, and they're better off left there, and then let the Fish and Wildlife figure out, if it really has been abandoned. And if it really has been abandoned, it will go to a rehab so it has every chance of going back in the wild before it would come to a sanctuary. Up here's RJ. RJ's gonna come out and see us now, so you can get a good look at his rosette. So you can see how his markings are different. He's our youngest bobcat. Even his face looks different. He's from New Mexico, we believe. Again, was a pet ownership. Somebody made up the story that they found him on the side of the road. Sometimes we don't know what is real, but he was compensated from the people by Fund for Animals, and then he was brought here to Lions, Tigers, and Bears. So he went to a rehab first, but obviously same as Diego. Not sure if he was a true wild bred cat or a captive bred cat, but definitely imprinted on people when he came here and could not go back into the wild. So we would never have any animals here at Lions, Tigers, and Bears that would have any chance of going back into the wild.
How did RJ get his name?
So Donna's asking how RJ got his name, and he got his name at one of our auctions at our Wild in the Country fundraiser, and somebody bid to name him, and the man's name was Robert Joseph. So that is how RJ got his name. So when the females get pregnant in the wild, they're pregnant for about 50 to 70 days, and they'll have 1 to 6 kittens. So they can just have 1 or 6, which is a huge difference, and it can change from year to year. And they, of course, go in one of those dens where they can hide really good, a small cave. And when the babies are born, they weigh about 10 to 12 ounces. So I'm sure you can imagine they're super small. They could fit in the palm of your hand. And of course, they depend on the mother's milk for 12 weeks of life. So again, that's why you might come across a baby and, you know, he's totally dependent on that mama's milk, something we really can't properly replace. And she's out hunting because she has to eat to feed the babies. And then the young bobcats will finally start to hunt at the age of 5 months. So that's a long time that their mama will be leaving them to hunt. And they're ready to leave their mothers at 8 to 11 months old. And they reach sexual maturity at about 1 to 2 years after birth. And they can survive 12 to 13 years in the wild and about 20 years in captivity. So a lot of times people ask, you know, well, why so much longer in captivity? Because they get medical care, wound care, parasites and worming, you know, and as they get older, we provide the food and they don't have to hunt when they're old and weak. I know they definitely belong in the wild. Wildlife it's hard work and it's heartbreaking sometimes.
Beatrice wants to know if there's any issues between the older bobcats, Clarence and Mia, and the younger bobcat, RJ and Diego. Do they form a pack?
Not so far. They all seem to get along really well, and they have enough space to, you know, to claim their own and claim, you know, choose where they want to be and whether they want to get away from each other. That's why we're real careful and slow about introducing them. And it's funny because, you know, sometimes you'll see Mia and Clarence cuddle up together. The other day we saw Clarence and RJ cuddled up together. So now that we have Sunshine, we'll be introducing Diego more. And you'll see when we move them down there, they'll all get along and they'll all have their little places. Because a lot of times we'll come out and you can pretty much always count on RJ being in his house, or if not, all 3 of them are around the main house. But when it's feeding time, we separate them most times, or we feed them at the fork in their places, their same places every time. And that seems to work. And you can see their little markers down here on the fence, which are here for the volunteers to know where to station the cats. And that way that gets rid of that food aggression like we were seeing with Clarence, and it helps so that they don't fight. And also then we know, because we measure their food, that everybody gets their whole diet. So no problems eating in here other than RJ. RJ is like the little skinny blonde. He doesn't always like to eat, and he's very finicky. So he's the only one in here that, you know, you can't count on every single day to finish his food, but he's been like that since he's a baby, and he's super healthy. He's just not a gigantic eater. He would rather play and sleep than eat. So as you can see, for the bobcats, we do try to provide them everything they need, because they do like stumps and little caves and little places to hide. And of course they have the water and a water feature to climb on, and then they have the platforms up high. And super excited to get these guys down into that new big habitat that we showed you at the beginning.
And Jessica wants to know, when will they be moving in there?
So the weather's been killing us with the rain, because the last thing we have left to do in there is water and the water feature, which is of course pouring a little bit of concrete. And now that we have Sunshine, it should be within a month. So as long as we keep the sunshine and we don't get weather, I would say in about a month, because everything else is done. We do got to get in there and weed whack and get a couple trees that we already have planted, which we can do while they're building the water feature. And the houses, or the dens, kind of like what you see right here in the background, are being built right now. One of them's finished and 3 more being built. So I would say within a month. And then when hopefully about that time is when people can come back out and visit, and it'll be the first thing they see when they check in, because it is right behind the McGrath family Carly's check-in station. where everybody checks in for the visit. So don't forget, we are having a fundraiser. We're calling it Help Us Hang in There during this crazy virus, and we are all going to get through it, but we are asking for your help. If you can donate $20 or more, $20, it really does add up. Just think, it could feed, you know, all 4 of these cats for a day. It could feed Conga for a day, the leopard. It does add up, and it's peer-to-peer fundraising, so you can get on our website and make your own fundraiser for lions, tigers, and bears if it's your birthday, or if you just want something to do with your kids to help us to help these animals. It really does help us, and it's really easy. Get on our website or text LTB to 71777. So LTB for lion, tiger, bear at 71777. And please share. You know, one of the biggest problems we have here at Lions, Tigers, and Bears, not everybody knows we're here. And there's a lot of animal lovers that would love to come out and see the animals. So if you could share, it does help us on the social media.
We'll get a big shout out to Karen Schoen, one of our awesome volunteers, who says hi.
Hi,
She's
Karen.
watching.
She's judging us. She's going to tell us everything we did wrong. And about that fence in the picture.
Yeah, about that fence in the picture. Hi, Bobby.
Hi. Sorry about the fence. We're trying.
Yeah, I've been trying to get as many through.
So does anyone have any other questions? Do any rabbits accidentally, I can't see who's asking that, but do any rabbits accidentally get into the enclosure?
I can't hear it.
So when we first built this habitat, yes, we did have a couple rabbits and snake get in the habitat. And now we have some, if you can look over here by the gate, we just have these little slats right here that keeps the rabbits from getting inside. So we haven't seen any rabbits inside anymore. You know, there's no way to help birds flying through, so you will see them leap across the habitat every once in a while to see if they can't catch a bird. And we do have snake wire around the outside, but we have seen a couple times where the snakes get in. We have a lot of gopher snakes around here, so we just get them out before the bobcats hurt them, if we can. And Tom and Meg came over to say hello. If you've been out here, everybody knows Tom, and this is Meg, our awesome volunteer coordinator. So if you want to come out and volunteer, just get on our website, go under the ways to help, and fill out the volunteer application that's for our insurance, and Meg will get you out here after this whole virus thing to help us, because we do a lot of work, but we do have a lot of fun, and we have a huge family here. Oh, here comes Mia back to say hi. So again, you can see how much silver is on Mia. And actually, she came over to say hi to Tom, I think. You tell her, Tom. So kids, don't forget the contest. Send in your pictures. You can email them to volunteer@lionstigersandbears.org. Meg will be getting all the pictures, and if we get some in, we'll start displaying them on our lives, and the teachers will be doing a little bit of judging, or volunteer teachers, and send you some prizes. And you can get on our website and see the different animals on the website. So you can look back at the Facebook post or the videos to see the animal that you're drawing, or you can get on the website and look, so you can do a nice drawing. And you can mail it too. If you can't email, you can mail it to us. So we're looking forward to when you can all come back out and visit. Don't be afraid to suggest if you have an animal that you want to see on one of the lives, or something that you want to know that we do here behind the scenes at Lions, Tigers, and Bears, and we can try to make that one of our lives for you, and then let you know what day we'll be doing it. And for those of you that follow Lions, Tigers, and Bears, our April e-letter, it did go out today. So it has a couple things in it, like the Bakari update. It does have the video links, so you can watch the lives. It has some of the media that we've just finished doing about Tiger King and about this whole virus, and the tiger that had the virus at the zoo. So you can click on those if you wanted to watch that. Also has our campaign on there, and how you can stay the night. Anyway, the e-letter did go out, and if you're not getting our e-letter and you would like to, you can just go to our website, and there's a place right on the top where you can sign up for the sign up for the e-letter and the updates, and that'll tell you like when we're having the spooky camp over, when we're having the campovers, and when we're having the events and the wine tasting and the sunset events, our Wild in the Country, which unfortunately was scheduled for May 9th and we were forced to cancel, but we will be rescheduling. So if you're interested, just go on our website and sign up for that e-letter, and then you'll know everything that's going on. So I hope I was able to answer all your questions today, and I hope you enjoyed seeing all the bobcats, because we sure enjoyed hanging out with them and sharing them with you. And if you can help us on our Help Us Hang In There campaign, we sure appreciate it. And to all of you who already have, we love you. God bless you. Thank you. And I hope you all have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine. Bye.